Think you can't make it as an author? Think again. It's all about overcoming doubt and unlocking the secret to building a brand that sticks. Let's show you how today. This is the Believe Retreat, and our special guest is Lea Tran. She is an author, she is a speaker, and she is an asset protection specialist making impact on many lives. Let me introduce you to my Believe sisters and our special guest. We're going to come into this space here. Here's Lea Tran. Welcome. Francine Jeline, aka Princess Francie. And of course, Heidi. She is the opportunity igniter and the coach that rocks. Ladies, I am so excited to be here with you today. We're going to have an awesome show.
Stormy's here too.
Stormy.
I rode with Heidi Saturday night, and Stormy has the cutest little bed in the back seat.
Doesn't
That's
she?
right. She hates riding in it though. She would prefer to be like squeezed underneath the steering wheel on my lap, which is probably not the safest thing in the whole world, which is why she has the nice super box that she's supposed to love so much, but she does not.
Yeah, we got to include our fur babies, and I'm so excited to have Lee here because Lee and I were in a community together about visibility and really getting our messaging out there. I heard about Lee's book, and because we had such a nice rapport, I decided to get the book and read it. I did not miss the boat. Seriously, it affected me so deeply. I loved her story. I loved the way that she shared it. And I said, "Hey, hi, how you doing? It's Joanna. Can we go out to lunch? I want to meet you. I want to talk to you." That's the power of a book and a well told story. It caused us to connect, and we are friends. Lee Tran is a friend of mine. She's a colleague, she's a friend, and she has introduced me to an amazing world of her network. And we've had some great experiences with speaking and sharing our stories, retreats, everything. So I just wanted to start things off with the power of being a published author. And we're going to help you, those who are watching us today on the live stream, plug into that. How should we start?
Well, let's start from the beginning. Let's find out a little bit more about Lee and how did you become an author? How did you even get into this?
Hello, ladies. Thank you for having me. It's such a great pleasure. And like Joanne said, story is powerful. And it scared you when somebody read your book and know everything about you when you already downloaded and you say, okay, now I can walk away and forget it. And she's like, oh, and in this chapter, your dad said this. And then your mom said that. I was like, wow, you know what? I can have you recite my book. This is just like that's the power of connection, and that's the power of connection. And I want to say that many of us, I'm included, never ever, but you never say never, right? Because I never ever ever thought I would be a writer, an author, particularly. That's like 100,000 word right there. I cough out, and my publisher's like, "You got to stop because that's too long. Nobody gonna read over that 300 pages." But sometimes when you don't put too much attention about, am I gonna get a perfect book? Am I gonna perfect message? You just pour yourself out the way that you want to convince or communicate with the world, and that was happening during COVID. I have to tell you, again, I never thought I would be an author because English was my fifth language. Y'all, I, I didn't speak English, not a lick when I come to America. I spoke three different dialects in Chinese. I spoke Vietnamese, and I was 4 years deep in French. And I did not pick up English. And I come here, I become a mute. And when you can't speak, you doubt yourself a lot. Am I expressing it right? Am I saying the right word? If people gonna do I offend them by saying, I can't even crack a joke because it might be a joke to me in Chinese, but it could be something very offensive in English or in Vietnamese.
So true.
Yeah. So that tampered me down, and I was in the world that I don't have to deal with people. I was a chemist. I was a research chemist. So I do is mixing up chemical. It will explode someday if you're not careful. That's the only attention you get. But you don't get to see people. I mean, once a month you get to talk to the biologists. You have meeting with other chemist fellows. But I was in there for almost 2 decades, and I
Wow.
got busy. And I'm a people person. And every day I look outside that giant window and I'm asking myself, what am I missing? Like, I like the paycheck in here. I like what I did, it's creative, but I'm missing the part of human being. That's where it gave me energy. But speaking and writing is a part of communication that you don't know how powerful, because I keep wondering who's sleeping with my book tonight. Because I've got so many email. I wake up and it's like, oh my God, I haven't read a good book for years. And I read your book page to page. And now it inspired me to do something, to find out my ancestor, to do something that creative and to walk out things. So, yes, don't underestimate power of your story. And without COVID, I probably wouldn't have a book. I mean, most people have real baby. I have a book baby. And and that really opened a lot of door. And um, before that, I did a TEDx talk. Yeah, 2019, I did a TEDx talk, and that was the reason that people say, I want more, I want more. So the TEDx talk is also named "I Did Not Miss the Boat," because seriously, I didn't miss the boat. I was one of those boat people back then in the late 70s, early 80s, that we escaped South Vietnam. And my dad helped build a boat. He was the project manager and took 502 people out to the deep sea, not knowing where we're going to go. And we got pirate raided 4 times, near death multiple times. The boat got the holes in there. So there's a lot of things that you could only see it in the movie, but I lived through those. And I felt that if I'm not sharing, I don't want to bring this to the grave with me, because my story sounds like it's nothing to me, but to a lot of people, it was an adventure. It was something that they have not seen in that part of the world. So I'm sure we can all learn from each other. And I don't know if I talk too much, but you can stop me anytime because I could go on and on and on.
You
I
know
just
what?
want I want to add something here. If you're watching this and you don't think your story has an impact like the boat people, let me tell you that it does. Even if it's just about, for instance, one of my writing students is adopted and she's writing about the growing up in a foster home. And that will inspire someone either thinking about fostering, adopting,
Yeah,
or the kid who's going through it and thinking, oh, this is the worst thing in the world. And this lady saying, no, this is the best thing in the world because. So no matter what your experience is, it doesn't have to be this big, huge adventure.
it's
Just your personal story will inspire somebody else's life.
absolutely. And you can actually make that impact across the continents, across the continent, not even knowing whose lives that, I mean, impacted you. But I want to say that I picked up the courage because I read a lot of memoir. I read a lot of memoirs and stories, that documentary. I love all those nonfiction stuff, self improvement, because I think those are real. There's nothing wrong with going to the fiction world, but I think there's plenty of true stories that we can actually inspire from. We don't really need to Star Wars, but again, don't. don't shock me because I'm not a Star Wars fan or anything. I do like watching them, but I'm not a fanatic. But the reason I had that courage because I have seen and read books and movies about people who've gone through tremendous things. They don't have to be boat people. They don't have to be refugee. They don't have to be anything. They can be just normal people that who has a parents that divorced that they go through life with disappointment of their parents and the, just like normal everyday life can actually impact a lot of people who's going through the same thing. So don't underestimate your own story. That's the message.
Yeah, and I just want to share too that people can relate to every story because we have this in common. We're human beings, and no matter what generation we grew up in, what continent we come from, we have the same basic needs:
Yep.
clothing, food, and shelter, love, creative expression, a need and a thirst for knowledge and experiences and things of that nature. So we have so much in common with every generation, people of all backgrounds and nationalities. And we're going to be able to relate as long as we share that human side. We have so much in common. And what I enjoyed about your book so much, Lee, was the quality of the writing, because I have a literary background, so I'm a bit of a book snob. It was high quality, it was descriptive, it was juicy. I could see it like a movie. My emotions were going up and down because I was with you every step of the way. I became a little ethnically Chinese living in Vietnam, curious, precocious, intelligent little girl, the oldest and large and in charge in the family, interpreter for the parents. I mean, the hopes, the dreams, the danger. You wrote it in a compelling way, so much that I just had to meet you. I wanted to be your best friend. That storytelling is so important, and we can all do it, even with the simplest things. So, like you shared a saga. It could have been a mini series in pursuit of the American dream. You remember, because you ended the story 30 years ago when I met you. How's your son? How is everybody doing? I was invested in the people in the book.
Yeah.
And I was so honored to have met your mother personally. Because like we're friends. Lee had me over her house. So I just wanted to
A
share with
powerful
everyone.
connection, right? Story is
Yes.
powerful. And I have to say, I come from a research background. If I don't do thing, I do thing. I don't do thing. If I do, I really put in the position that I'm doing very much analysis, and I want to make sure that people go with me from that journey. Not about pity party, not about I will give everyone's perspective. Now, in my opinion, it could be wrong. I don't know. But I would tell you what is in my head and what is the person I thought was in her head at the time, even my parents, my sibling, because your story is your story. If somebody else tells it, it might not be 100% accurate, but it's their interpretation, their
Yeah.
perspective, right? And I told my publisher, if I can't have picture in there, deals off, because pictures worth 1,000 words. And I was able to take you with me because I give you that little snippet of visual that you
Yes.
take with me. I can't take a picture when I was pirate. But there's things in the internet that you can kind of like
Right? Right? Like the cover.
you can give a little bit of an idea. Had I known, I would document everything back then, right? But you do your best, and I think that the advantage of having a research background,
Yeah.
and my dad is very detailed, very analytical, and so I'm glad that they came out this way. But it's gonna be 5 years this September, guys. My
Uh,
book baby is 5 years old, and everybody keep asking when is your next book, and I gotta beat myself up. So I was like, I don't want to wait for another COVID. Thank God, please no. No.
Right. No more
Oh
pandemics to
no.
get us to write a book,
Right.
okay? We're
Right.
going to show everybody how to do it a little bit of at a time. You're working full time, you have family responsibilities, community, etc. We're all busy, but in community with the
Yeah.
Believe Retreat community, with the experts that we have like you've been there, you've done that, and maybe you'll be in our anthology Believe You Can. This
And
is
anthology is good because you have each other accountability.
yes.
For anthology, is I think it's much easier because you don't have to write 80, 90,000 words.
Yeah,
I mean, what is your limit of words? A chapter or two can't be that hard, but that would be a beginning of a journey that if you can give people a little snippet and you're brave enough to say, here I am, just a little appetizer and trigger that curiosity, someday you can tell more. But at this point, if you are afraid to stand alone, you have this whole entire community of support and learn from each other and then build that bonding with each other. So that's how I had a couple anthologies that I share with because it was fun. It's always
good. And you were in the anthologies before you did I Didn't Miss the Boat?
I think it was simultaneously I was writing my
Okay.
book and then I was on the coaching program. So they have an anthology for all the coaches. And at that time, I become a supporter for the refugee film school, some of the refugee kids in Malaysia. So we were meeting every week to teach those teenagers in Malaysia how to do business. So I was one of those like board members. And I was
Good.
talking about that. And then I was in Ken Roshan's anthology as well, and I'm in the 25 Change Maker from Florida doing COVID, and that was another anthology. And I can't remember, but I
Oh, that's how you know Francine.
No, we know through Toastmasters.
Oh my goodness.
and I
Because
know
of course
Ken.
Francine's with Ken Roshan, Perfect Publishing.
Yeah,
And you were also Ken Roshan, Perfect Publishing, and you're both in
and
Toastmasters.
we were in New York together because Ken was supporting Michelle, and we were in the magazine on the front cover, and we were in New York having the magazine review, and I've seen
Wow.
Ken time to time every time with She Exists magazine. So yeah,
He's like
Right.
he's bigger than life, isn't he?
I'm so glad to work with him. And Heidi, I know you are ready to jump in. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about the impact and the ripple effects from Lee Tran's book.
Well, I'm just going to say that I guess I need to get the book as soon as we get off of here because um,
that's an
what
audio
you just
version too.
described is the kind of book that I typically like look for when I'm going through the library and I'm searching for, you said it, like an adventure. And I'm like, oh, you lived through this? And I know somebody that lived through this. Oh my gosh. So now I need to know more. So I am definitely going to be checking that out. And speaking of which, you shared some website links with us. So I want to pop those in the chat really quick so that if people want to
So
connect with
there's
you
two
after they
websites.
see you on this, they can do that.
So if I can explain about my website, so during COVID, I was an author, and then I do keynotes for organization, and eventually I somehow become a speaker because I take a lot of coaching, speaking courses, and I was certified to be a speaker. I was in the National Speaker Associations and the whole 9 yard, and I was certified to be a ICF coach. I'm coaching people doing TEDx and stories and blah blah blah. And I was in the same community with Joanne with the red elephant, right?
Yep.
So we met too. So things were just going well, and then the story of my life just take a turn. My husband had a stroke. How dare him? On his birthday, and didn't have any warning. Like I was on the verge of launching a course, an online course, about mindset, a lot about story coaching, about story branding, story legacies, and all this thing. And that took a turn on me. I was totally shocked because that brought me back to my dad 30 some years ago. At 50 years old, he also had a stroke. And I was young at that time. I didn't understand much about, finance, and not just building your finance, but guarding your finance in a way that you're not going to get knocked down when a life crisis hit you. So it happened to my husband, and I was kind of crippled for 6 months, and then I get back up and I look to see what exactly the purpose of everything that's happened here. I was equipped for speaking, coaching. Why did this happen to me? It is a wake up call. So I went and do a little more research and get myself protection. And in that process, I felt that a lot of women out there, especially business owner or young mom who have young kids, what happens if your breadwinner gets sick and you don't have income to cover for the next 6 months or a year? So those are the things that I found out, that there is a thing that's called living benefit in the life policy that actually can keep you safe. You don't have to lose your home. You don't have to lose your income if you have a policy that cushion you and protect you, especially with young kids. You don't have to foreclosure your home because you couldn't pay mortgage for 3 months. So that took me on a journey to become a independent life agent, and that has been something, again, never say never, and that is something I never said that I would do. But I have bargained with God, I negotiate with him, I talk to him, I pray to him, and that seems like my calling at that point. So that's why my website, if you want to go to leetran.com, you will see a little bit of my story and who do I serve. And another website is from the brokerage firm that I belong to, and we have product education on there. Like, what do you need? We can help you in the three major life crises that financially you don't have to stress out, burn out, because you take a little time to prepare. Because repair is a lot harder than prepare. Um, we're still paying medical bills because
Wow.
healthcare system that you have right now. People say, "Oh, I have healthcare. I have insurance from the company, whatnot." But bear in mind, the best healthcare system still not going to pay for your grocery, your mortgage, your gas, your utilities, everything, your kids' tuition. But if you have a protection, you will cover. And the other thing is growing old, right? Growing
Yep.
old, die, and getting sick. Those are the three major factors that I help people right now to tell the story, that why am I doing what I'm doing, and why is it important for them to understand this is not something you want to sit around, because life can throw you a curveball anytime, anytime, especially when you are least guarded, because nobody's planning to get sick. Nobody's planning to die, and nobody's planning to grow old, even though we do grow old. But those are the things that nobody want to think about. And I have to bring the hard truth to tell people that you plan that, then you can enjoy life and do whatever you like to do, and have that peace of mind so you don't have to lose any sleep if things like that happen.
You
With
should
this,
write a book about this.
oh, you know what? When my husband was in the hospital, I wrote. I've got so many stories. So my second book, I'm gonna spill a little beans here. It's about faith, because I'm building a ship of faith. I'm jumping out that refugee boats, but
Right.
it's about the ship of faith, a family. I learned so much from having a family, from my younger siblings that I helped raise them, and now they taught me a lot. And then from my own son, I have only one son, but he taught me so much, and he's a gifted child. So there's just a lot of things that I didn't get from my parents, and I have to learn how to give to my son the way that, not the same way that my parent gave it to me, because that generation is all about obedience, authority, guilt, but I have to give him choices. So he taught me a lot of that. And the third thing is self worth. Like speaking is part of the journey of learning about your worth, about your voice. Um, it's matter. It matters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what I love too is that you get people's attention with your compelling book. Even though it's 5 years old, we can pick it up and read it anytime, but just the themes that you share of overcoming in spite of all of these odds, right? Having a successful life, businesses, family. I mean, you have done it all. Creative expression. She sews like a dream, home furnishings and window covering business.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
that's, let me give you a little
everything.
spill. I'm actually have a drug that from my own hood that is treating AIDS out there before I left the corporate, and one of the PhD told me is like that is the dream of every scientist to have a name under some drug, and you have it. It's almost like you know you're lucky. I was like, I worked for it. But I don't talk a lot about it because it is not my individual, it's a teamwork. My boss was brilliant. I mean, I was among creme de la creme. It's like I was on Ivy League product, a PhD that who are really smart, book smart. And I felt like that part of my life, I have completed something. And I branch out and I do decorative. Like people was like, what? I'm going from left brain to right brain.
Yeah.
You see the window treatment behind me? That's part of the sample that I did for $1 million homes, and I do blind shades, drapes, all this beautiful decorating stuff. I did that for 10 years, and I gave back to the community, and then figured out that I need something new. So I moved to Florida, and again, this year is our 10th years. Thanksgiving was October. That was when we closed down here. But yeah, life is just like it's so much. You don't think much about your life. I'm not talking about mine. I'm talking about you, your life. If you sit down and just think about your journey of life from teenager to whatever you are now, you'd be amazed if you just pause and step back and pretend that you are somebody else looking at your life. You'll be amazed because
It's
that's
fascinating.
that's what I did. I was like, wow, I would want to read somebody else's story like that.
And I'll tell you why I brought that up too. I don't mean to just keep you in the past, but what I love is that your book comes full circle with what happened with your husband's stroke. That you, in your book, you have the situation with your father's stroke, and then it happened to you and your beloved husband that we fell in love with from I Did Not Miss the Boat. And then we said, oh my goodness, he had a stroke. This is the reality of what happens to us. And then you're able to you have another career, another iteration by helping people with living benefits. So you can leverage your amazing life story book to bring attention to how you can help people today with your real lived experience to change their life, to protect what they have and who they love so they can have a higher quality of life because you are going to educate them on these financial tools. So really, I just want to share it's a full circle thing. It all comes together, and that's the power of being an author. It leads to speaking events and ways to meet people to show how you can change their lives, and we live a richer life as a people from a mental, emotional, spiritual basis. And guess what? It will enrich our pockets too, because naturally, where the energy goes, the money is going to flow. So I just wanted to hopefully wrap things up. And hey, ladies, why don't you tell us about next week?
Wait,
Okay.
before we go there, I just
Oh,
want to say one more thing
oh,
about
oh,
becoming. Oh,
oh. Sorry,
what?
you threw me off.
That's
Okay,
okay. I'm
okay,
sorry.
okay. Sorry, I panicked. Okay.
One more thing about writing your own personal story. When you are in business or when you are a creative, when you are a singer, when you are a performer, people want to get to know, like, and trust you. Build your own personal brand. If you're part of a band, Build your own personal brand away from the band. And the best way to do that is to write your own book or write a chapter in an anthology because that's branding yourself and you could use that to take you anywhere. It's like a passbook.
Yes.
But give one addition to that, because everybody come from a lot of story. Don't give a whole the story. Just take one story and what represent you, and make that a very juicy chapter, and then hook on people who want to know more about who you are. But that is the power of story. Just go dive in, and you have a community here to support you. And I also have a podcast. It's called Surviving to Thriving. Don't mean to hijack, but I'm saying that I'm featured on story as well. And I think most of these ladies here has been on my podcast, and that was born during COVID as well. And I'm co-hosting with another refugee friends,
Who
Navy.
has been on our show?
Yes,
Oh, that's amazing.
we promoting each other, and this is the
Yeah.
world of plenty of oxygen for everyone. You don't have to live in the scarcity. It's like, oh, that's a competitor. No, this is how we're promoting, and we get each other lift up. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.
In abundance. And thank you again, Lee. Now we could talk about next week, right? We're just a couple minutes over, but that's all right. We're having an awesome
Who's
conversation.
counting? Who's counting? Okay, so next week. Oh, Joanna, do you want to introduce next week?
Yes, we have another author. As you can see, that's the theme, and it is Hal Eisenberg. What I love about how he shared his story with people, and he's an advocate for change in our education system as well. But guess what? He's also the drummer in a rock and roll cover band. So, we keep the
Ooh.
cool people here in the Believe Retreat. So yes, delighted. I have his book as well. I read the books written by my friends and acquaintances. It's all inspirational. So we're gonna have an awesome conversation next week with Hal, just like we had a fabulous conversation today with Lee.
All right, and then I want to make sure that you guys know all about our details for Believe Retreat Weekend. Let's see, is that sharing? It is.
Yeah.
Francine, tell us about the Impact Publishing Summit,
Well,
September 12th and 13th, as part of the Believe Retreat Weekend.
it's going to start on Friday night, and it is going to be the party of the century. We are going to have authors. So if you're a reader, come on out, be our guest, and meet the authors. And authors, this is a great opportunity for you to come and showcase your books and meet the public who wants to read your books. This is the opportunity to take what you wrote and make an impact in somebody else's life and increase that know, like, and trust factor so you could, well, sell your coaching program or sell your courses or who knows what. This is an opportunity for authors and readers to connect, have some fun, and network. Then Saturday, more networking, more opportunities to connect with authors and readers. The impact publishing opportunity, Ken Ashan, our publisher who we've been talking about, will be doing a 2-hour seminar on impact publishing. And that is simply how to make a bigger impact in the world using your book. It's how to get that 1,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel, how to get those 10,000 Facebook followers, how to make connections and grow your authority and find the people who want to collaborate with you. So we'll have that in the morning. We're going to have this great lunch at the Embassy Suite. And then after lunch, You're going to hear from published authors who have implemented what Ken teaches in the morning, and we're going to share how we implemented the strategies and what they did for us. So not only can you learn the strategies, but learn how to implement them, and we could even help you implement them during the weekend. There's going to be great opportunities to make some videos, do some interviews, get on some other people's podcasts, and make some content that you could put on social media. I'm still using the content I made in that Nashville 3 weeks ago. This is the opportunity of a lifetime to get social and show the world what you're doing. There's more planned, but that's all we have time to talk about right now. Plop a comment in the comments if you want more information because there is a VIP opportunity, the all in. I'm going to wait for you to ask what that's all about because I will talk for an hour about it. Ask me, I'll tell you.
Let's be a
So,
VIP.
so what I'm sharing with you is our website. So when you go here, you can get your ticket selection for whatever makes the most sense for you. But the best bang for your buck is the VIP. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that next week, but you can always go to our website where I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat for you if you want to check out more information before then.
And we
All
don't
right, I'm
buy,
so
we don't
excited.
buy,
Joanna's here for the closing.
wait, we don't bite. You can DM me. I will be happy to connect via Zoom, telephone, email. Just talk to me.
Me too. And Stormy's the only one here who bites. So
No,
thank
she
you again.
does.
I'm just
She doesn't.
kidding.
She just gives kisses.
Just kidding. Just kidding. But anyway, we want to thank you and remind you all from the Believe Sisters to all of you that if you can conceive it, you can believe it and therefore achieve it. So from the head,
To the heart.
To the hands.
Yeah,
yes,
Yes,
you
you
can.
can.
can. Yeah.
And that's
Thanks,
a
Amy.
wrap.
I wanna say thank you for giving me this opportunity to meet your community, and I wish everybody take the offer and check it out and come to join these ladies. It sounds like a really fun group, and I wish you all the best. And again, thanks for having me.
It was
Oh,
wonderful,
you
Lee. You
shared such
take care.
amazing wisdom today,